back. Sorry if that last video frightened you, but this is unrelated. So, there's this thing that's going on called hard work exploitation. Should not have written that there. And the way it goes is in a basic relationship with life, not just employers, but life. If you give a basic amount of effort, then you get a basic amount of effort back from existence. And so, if you decide to contribute enough to what's happening that it produces shared wealth and comfort, there's a basic survival standard. If you do the work, then you get to pay for the work done. Basic standard. If you get up and you're not just sitting there being lazy and dying and making everyone save you because you keep saying you don't understand something, and that's challenging everyone's ability to protect themselves because they all know they don't understand something, then you're not going to get anything in return. If you're waking up and as there are problems caving in on our entire existence, you're not helping push those problems back, then you're not going to get anything from existence. Because existence is like multiple things. Existence is like God, but it's also like a pet that you have to take care of. You have to treat it well. If you're not going to take care of your pet's not going to give you love. Pretty much, right? So, basic standard. Do the work, get the pay. Hard workers were incentivized by the idea that if they worked above the basic standard, then they would get above the basic pay. Very simple model. The higher you go above the standard, the higher your privileges earned in your pay. So, hard work exploitation occurred because of two arguments. One, it was considered unfair for high performers to have such privileges when their talents seemed given to them rather than earned by them. So someone super intelligent in school gets all A's and everyone thinks it's not fair that they get to have whatever they want just because they're smart. The issue with this is, in cases of high performance and in this model of trade, doing more provides more. So, in this idea, this hack essentially, if I do more, then I'll get more in return, and it'll just keep going at the same level that basic standard occurs. That as these high performers earn things, they were also, with that same intelligence that gave them the ability to figure this out, better at distributing what they had amongst everyone around them. And so high performers not only perform for themselves, but perform for the shared environment. And so these high performers would also create reward for everyone around them at the same time. Because remember, we're working for ourselves, we're working for our families, but we're also working for existence. We are also working just to make things comfortable for everything and everyone and ourselves. So, these hard workers would often, in cases like mine, where I would state logic that prevented conflict, and I would help everyone see the same ideas at the same time to prevent them from fighting each other, to increase non-collisive structures development to give us more privileges over time. The second argument was that those who could work harder for more stuff were taking advantage of society by demanding more stuff for working harder when it seems so natural to them. This argument is a misperception of what was going on. So, once again, basic standard. Do the work, get the pay. In order to have a basic level of survival, you must meet a basic level of response from life. If you don't get up and go to the restroom when you need to take a shit, then you cannot expect your area to be clean. These are basic actions. That's the standard. That's what I'm talking about, okay? All these people did, while being incentivized, was figure out that if they went far and above the standard, which is got a job, and then kept working even when they were off of work on how to keep making things better, that they would get more things in the process. And so they weren't demanding more. They were just getting more. Likely what happened is that other people's jealousy became so demanding that their accusation of character was projected onto these high performers. And so high performers were never really demanding much. They were just performing high and just expecting life to follow its rule of the basic survival standard. So what happened because of these two arguments is that there was a impression reset, a graduation. If you were noticed to be a high performer going above and beyond the basic survival standard, there was an attempt to raise the basic survival standard to just where you were at. And this was accused of a couple of things. It was said that it was an attempt to graduate people to work at their level so that things were fair. If you, for some reason, could only give out this much and thus only got this much back, the only way for it to be fair... Wait, no. I'm missing an argument. Oh, no, I got it. So people like this that that just for some reason couldn't figure it out, probably didn't want to. That's a real thing. Would argue that it was unfair for high performers to be able to do that. And so what occurred is that high performers would have the bar raised to compensate for low performers. And so high performers would be working harder than low performers, but would still be receiving the same amount as low performers in return. And here's how it works. So, in the basic standard, high performer goes above and beyond, they get above and beyond. By attempting to raise the standard to keep high workers graduated, and there's a difference between developing skill and pace versus making things fair for low performers. What would occur is that the attempt would be, you guys naturally work at this pace. You should not get more for that. That's just what you do. Here, you're going to get the basic standard of survival, but because we know you can work this hard, you're going to keep working this hard. Once again, those who could work harder were accused of taking advantage of society if they had a problem with this. And so, high performers, because of their intelligence, because of their high endurance, because of their willingness to keep going so that they could earn more, were subjected to this standard. They put out this much, but in order to keep things fair for low performers who likely weren't even really trying, they could only receive this much to keep things calm. This led to a reduction. Low performers said, it's not fair, he should get the same as me, he's just smart, it's just because he's smart, it's just because he's intelligent, all that bullshit. So, high performers, the same rationale that they use to become high performers, to put in the effort to become high performers, would realize that it's pointless to perform at such a high rate when you're getting the same pay as a low performer. Now what would happen is, these guys, the high performers, would start to reduct. They would start to lower the amount of effort they put in. This area of lowering would be called them being lazy. And so what would happen is that these high performers would be accused of, once again, taking advantage of society. And so as they attempted to lower themselves to what they thought was fair, thus was the standard lowered for them. Thus was their return. The standard would stay where it was, but they're just being lazy. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to fucking try. Oh, this and that. And so they would get less as a punishment. And so this led to a form of valedictorianism, which was that as the bar became raised so high for high performers that they were meeting their limit at too fast a pace and could not keep up with the challenges, which is once again why they were being given more stuff. That's why that was happening. As they were having their things taken from them by jealousy, but they still had too many things to respond to at that high pace. It was too high a raise in too fast a time, and no one could keep up with it. And so instead of seeing these high performers become even higher performers, what would happen is that these high performers, through the process of deduction, or of lazy reduction, would figure out how to, A, keep others below them Keep others' effort below theirs. Keep what was provided below theirs so that they could always argue that this person is not working as hard as me, therefore they should not get as much as I do. This is what they were taught whenever the low performers got their pass on the high performers. And so valedictorianism was not simply becoming a higher performer nonstop. That was honestly impossible at the level that we were being restricted. Because once again, it was just this basic survival standard expanded into a bigger, more privileged structure. So as the standard, once again, went low, there was no reason to keep going that high. But the impression was set. You're lazy and you're taking advantage of society if you're that smart and won't use it how we say. For something good. So, as they lowered, they became socially competitive. They attempted to find reasons to cut each other off. This led to ethical combat. This led to those things like, no, he can't be smart anymore. He did this bad thing. And you're talking about very intelligent people. You're talking about people so intelligent that they can fucking turn the moon orange and fucking slam it down just because they're upset about something. Okay? That's how high up this is. Notice how serious it got. The fucking AC, the AC went down. I'm sorry. Okay, so what would happen is that these high performers, because it was so unfair what was happening, and the low pass got an actual structure, a cripple on us, they became lazy reductives and started targeting each other so that they could always have more than one of another by claiming that they were working harder than everyone else. And so it became a game of outlasting everyone as low performers purposely raised the bar until we collapsed. Valedictorianism was not about being the smartest. It was about outlasting everyone else and cutting everyone else down so that you were just the hardest worker. My solution to this, if somebody goes above and beyond, then do not complain when they get above and beyond. Very simple. Now, all these low-level arguments, which is, he's just doing this, I need to see him work harder. You're only thinking about, this is people's idea of work now, for me. He needs to be lifting heavy objects constantly for 8 hours a day. That's people's idea of hard work, right? But this is hard work. Explaining this structure so well that nobody can argue with it, that's fucking hard work. I just do that. I care about this. I put effort into it. So much effort that it seems natural. But I could give up. The only issue is that you won't let me, once again, because of lazy reduction. You'll accuse me of being a predator. You'll accuse me of taking advantage of everyone. And so while I'm constantly demanded to work harder, you're also arguing to constantly give me less. I was molested. If I have to say it on this channel, there will be damages that you cannot solve, heal from, or fix. So, there's been a regular cycle of demanding more of me while taking things from me and then saying, no, you're too smart. You're just being lazy. Stop. You're just being lazy. That's not fair. I make a good argument for why I should keep getting more things. Low performers say, no, that's not fair. He's just intelligent. We should all be graduated to be the same. He should be the same level at which I struggle. We should find his level of struggle. Cut down high performance. All right, it's over. It's done. It's figured out. It's solved. So yeah, that was what was going on in my preteens. That was why I stopped making all A's. Well, that and I was fucking being attacked by fucking Diddy apparently. Fucking, oh my gosh, bro. I don't know if that's true, but still, that was what was happening. I wasn't lazy. I just set a really high impression, and you just tried to raise the bar so fast that it collapsed me. And you also tried to assert, and that was what killed it. Like, if you would have raised the bar fast, and then been like, I'll give you more stuff for it. But there was an argument made that people would need to be willing to work as hard as they possibly can, and then they should be given things. But that's not true. That's not true. If you notice that your hard work ends up with you on the streets, then you should slow down and fucking see what the right kind of hard work is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was all that was going on. And if you feel confused here, you're not. Yeah, that was one of the arguments. I lost. I'm good here. I did not fucking don't put that on a non-context. Don't add that to some short context. Stop doing those. Actually, the argument that was used to claim that people who could work hard needed to just work hard and then accept basic survival, or just above the line, was that once again they were like, okay, I already said all this. All right, video's over.